Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to do a video about language because I've been thinking about this for a long time and this is like one of my passions, so I really wanted to do this video. So today I am basically going to show you how you can learn languages the fastest and easiest way, promised. So these are like just basic tips to begin with, and in this video I'm just showing you like the tips, but then in the next video I'm showing you practical tips also. So if you want to know, then stay tuned and keep on watching. So the first tip to learn a language is motivation. Motivation is the most important step, and it's the first step that will keep you going and really see the success in the end. So motivation equals interest, because if you're not interested in something, you won't have any motivation. So that's why, like when learning languages, it's really important that you are interested in any aspect of the language, and language goes hand in hand with culture, people, countries. So let's say you want to learn Russian, but you're not interested in Russian culture, you're not interested in Russia itself and its people. So there's like really no motivation and interest. This is like the base, I think, to learn language and to grow in your learning and really succeed. One good example is that some people have like a really hard time learning languages at school. A lot of people come up to me and say like, I've been learning German for like 7 years. I can't even say like, hey, how are you? Like nothing. They forget everything they learned basically, and everybody that I've met told me this. This is the most common case in language learning at school. When you're like forced, or like someone imposes it to you, you're not really like interested and your motivation is not really up. So there's like no point basically in learning, because you won't retain what you learn. So that's basically what happens, and it will be double as hard for you to learn. Like for me, let's say when I was learning languages at school, almost every language like I now speak, I started learning at school. But I was always very interested in the languages I chose, because I got to choose the languages I learned. So I was very interested, and so from that interest came my motivation to learn and learn and learn more and keep going. Like I was like, I'm in school, so I get it for free, so let me take the advantage to get a free class of language and really profit from that. So I was really motivated to keep going, to learn more, and just get to know the culture in general, the people, and inform myself about the country, because I was really passionate about this. So this is what goes hand in hand always for me. It was always together, language and culture. I couldn't just begin learning, for example, Spanish without getting to know the Spanish culture and the music and its people and everything. And the more I got to know the culture, the more I loved the language and the more I loved learning it actually. And the second thing which I find really important to learn a language is believe. Believe. Because if you do not have this base, it won't go anywhere, I tell you. So believe that in yourself, in your ability, that you can learn it. Because if you don't believe it from the start, you will not be successful in learning. If you're, let's say, starting out with Spanish and you're saying, oh my gosh, this is so difficult, like you're already failing because you're speaking the words already that you won't succeed. And this is so true, because I see it when people start off like with, for example, German, okay, it's a difficult language, but if you are like, oh my gosh, it's so difficult, I'm never gonna learn it. I hear so many people saying that, even if they're like really interested into learning the language, but they're saying those words like, I don't know why you even start, because if you don't have self-belief that you can do it, even though it's difficult, then where's the point in like starting? And there's even studies that prove like the people like polyglots, for example, and people who have a hard time learning languages, the main difference between them is basically that the people who have like the ability to learn many languages, they're motivated, and also they believe in themselves, in their ability that they can do it actually. So if I go on and, for example, yeah, like my example with Portuguese, I started learning Portuguese by myself, and I had the belief, and like no moment I was like, no, I'm never gonna learn this, I'm never gonna be fluent. And from the beginning I was like, okay, I want to learn this, I'm gonna learn it, and I will. And that's it, and I learned it. So this leads me to the third point, which is basically let go of fear, let go of any kind of fear. Because if you want to learn, learning comes with failure and errors. So for example, if you start out learning the grammar and you're afraid to make mistakes, or you're starting out trying to speak and you're afraid to make mistakes, that's the worst thing that can happen. Because I always tell people, because people always come up to me and are like, how come you speak that language, how did you manage to learn this language and that. I always tell them the same thing. I will always tell them, like, just speak. Like, I was never afraid to speak. I think that's the main thing that kept me also going and learning, because I was never ever afraid to speak. Like when I first started out learning a language, I would just any chance I had, any opportunity I had to speak to natives, I would just take that opportunity and do it. One good example, when I started out learning Chinese, I had Chinese at university for 4 years, and it was when I was living in Spain, in Madrid, and down like my apartment there was like a Chinese grocery store. There were like Chinese grocery stores everywhere. So whenever I would go to the grocery store, because I didn't have, like at school, I didn't have I had my classes, but I didn't really have the chance to speak with natives. So whenever I would go to the grocery store, I would try and speak Chinese with them, and they were so amazed all the time, and they would like engage in conversation with me. Because yeah, it's not obvious, because nowadays it's more common that non-Chinese people speak Chinese, but before, when I studied it, it wasn't that common. So they were always amazed, and this got us to engage in conversation, and like, how did you learn it and why. This is what I do. I just engage in conversations and try to speak with people and with natives, and that's what I did basically in every kind of language, and that's how I kept learning. That's the thing. And people who have a hard time learning, that's exactly the thing that they lack. They lack self-belief, as I said, and they're also full of fear. They're full of fear to speak, because I hear that also all the time. Oh no, like, I'm ashamed, like I'm embarrassed to speak, like what if I make a mistake. I'm like, just speak. I have friends who want to learn German, and they've learned it, but they never speak because they're just embarrassed to speak, because they figure like, okay, I'm a native, so if they speak to me, their mistakes might be more obvious with me. So that's why they're even more afraid to speak with me. I'm just the other way around. If I meet a native in the language that I'm currently learning, I'm so eager to speak with that person and to learn more, and I even want the person to correct me. Those were the 3 basics as to how to get started learning languages. I really find those basics important. Language learning is really not that hard. If you have the foundation, if you have those 3 things, I think that then you can succeed and to learn any language you want to, and anything you put on your mind, you will be successful. So thank you so much for watching, and as I said, next time I will tell you guys practical ways as to how you can learn languages the fastest way. And thank you so much for watching, and I see you next time.